Hi, and a very good evening to one and all. This is Mareesha Paikh, CEO at the Wedding School, absolutely live right here at the Wedding School page on Instagram and Facebook. Friday evening it is, and I'm here with a very interesting topic. I usually avoid talking about me as a planner, and I have always pursued on talking about topics that are connected to all of us through the space of education, awareness, learnings, and how to grow as individuals and how to become impactful as members of the wedding fraternity. Today, of course, I have taken a topic which probably brings in the me as a wedding planner far greater than anything else. I think by now, for those of you who've been around long enough on my Insta live, would have realized that I'm deeply passionate about creativity, about content, about wanting to do things differently, and about having immense sincerity towards the goals and the vision of a client that needs to marry with yours as a planner, as a creative person. One of the major aspects that makes the wedding what it is the couple, So it does happen a lot of times. Hi, Paikh, lots of love to you. And I believe, Paikh, you guys are like already set and rolling. I got to know that you've come up with something interesting in terms of for the wedding season. I think him and then you just had a chat this morning. So I'm looking forward to working with you one more time. A big hello to everyone else, of course, who has joined me on Insta and on the Wedding School page on Facebook. Hi, Kainath. Hope you're doing well. And I hope you're helping your daddy very well. And a big hello to a lot of my students who are here, a lot of my friends who are here from the fraternity. We've got some very cool stuff lined up on our Insta page for the coming weeks. So I'm really excited. We've just cracked some cool, different ideas. And the Wedding School, of course, has over a period of time evolved from just being an education page to actually becoming a page of interest for one and all. And we've got some amazing feedback from our friends from the fraternity, seniors and the freshers, and those who are working with wedding planning companies as to how much they're liking the content that's being put up, how much they're liking a little bit of suggestion that we are constantly coming up with, because at the end we're striving towards making this industry something to look up to. And I really believe that that set as an endeavor is really what motivates and what channelizes all our efforts into. So it's beyond the students that we train, and there's a larger goal and agenda, and we're hoping that it really does good to the entire fraternity. So yes, a big hello and a wave back to everyone who's joined me on Insta. And like I was saying, that it's really critical that we don't forget what are weddings. Weddings are largely for the bride and groom. It is for the couple. But of course, in the fact that weddings are not just a personal celebration, especially in India, it's more about making a statement. It's more about networking. It has, over the last several years, moved into a sort of branding exercise for a lot of families. I guess that is also the reason why they constantly need more and more professional support, whether it's stylists, whether it's photography teams, whether it's the planner. They need these kind of professionals around in order to help position them in the right light. And I don't think anyone needs to be apologetic about it. But in fact, I think it's a great opportunity. But today I thought that why not make it a Friday special where we are actually going to talk about some of my brides. I'm like the alphabet series, which I think is doing pretty well. I think everyone's really enjoying that. So we've come up with this cool topic for today as to how I met my best brides. Now my equation with my brides, incidentally, has never been that of a typical female wedding planner with her bride, which is I have never bonded with my brides on clothes. And I don't know if it's great or not great, but that's just me. I've never bonded with them on the latest collection, or in the latest in makeup, or the latest in jewelry, which is the typical space in which a female wedding planner sort of dwells into. That's never been my sensibilities. So I have just naturally never drifted that side, and I think it's cool because initially when I was new, I really thought I was making an effort to connect with brides, but I realized that that's not my scene, and I need to live that space and just be a good show director and be a great planner, and eventually something will go right and we will kind of strike a chord. So that's how my life and journey has been as a wedding planner. And I have some interesting stories with regards to so many of the brides that I would have interacted with over the last decade. Close to 100 weddings and that many brides. And it's interesting how relationships have now gone beyond me just being professionally engaged in making their days special. Sayam is here. Hi, Sayam. Hello, back again. Yeah, I'm so glad, Sayam, you joined me here. It truly means a lot. And Sayam, you can also give me your comments on what I'm about to talk now. I'm going to say hi to Samita and Mobeen on the Wedding School page on Facebook. And guys, I hope you enjoy this chat. So how have I met some of my best brides? Now, it's genuinely very tough to actually pinpoint and say that, okay, this is my favorite, because every bride is special, without doubt. And I'm not just saying it to sound politically correct. There's everything special, and there's something special about every single human being. So why not our brides? But there are interesting stories, and there are some amazing things that I have learned from my brides, which may not be with regards to the technicalities of how to do the wedding, but something about discovering something new about myself, which has happened in the bargain, something that I may have discovered which has actually influenced me into the kind of person I am today, and probably the way I even conduct my business, or my day-to-day activities. So brides have unknowingly influenced and impacted me in a much deeper sense than I would have ever acknowledged. So when I decided to talk about this, that's all that kept coming back in my mind, and that's what I'm going to be talking here. Hi, Palak. Hope you're doing good. Palak is on now with her Navratri special, as I see. I like the ambition, girl, and I like the focus that you have, that you're not just going to stop at those dance classes. You've now got into your Sangeets, which have started. I saw your story. And of course, your Navratri special. So Palak invited me to be a part of the dance session yesterday, but nah, that's not me. I'm a Gujarati, but I'm a horrible one. So, but thanks, Palak, for the invitation. Nitin is here on Facebook. Hi, Nitin. Hope you're doing well. Nitin, you are always so keen and interested in the wedding space, and I think brides will be one interesting space for you to actually kind of understand their mind psyche. So hang around there. So one of the first brides, that I want to talk about is the first one, rather, I want to talk about is somebody who's now a dear friend. I have always made sure that I don't cross the line, and I have never ended up becoming like best buddies with my brides, because I believe that it's a wonderful relationship, and I would like it to evolve from professionalism to caring for each other to bonding, and that's it. I don't like to cross that little line, because I really feel that it'll take away from the professional me. So I draw that line. But there is a wonderful bride, Mansi, who incidentally is a wonderful artist, and she's married off in a very illustrious family. But the best part is she has continued her profession of being a makeup artist, and she travels a lot, and she's like this wild, crazy girl who has beautifully settled in a space where she has a personality of her own, but she is also there with the family, and has the right relation with everyone around. I think the coolest conversations, the non-stop talking, if I've ever done with any of my brides, it's been her, hands down. And it was very cool. The first time that I met her was incidentally at her cocktail party, where we were already working on the cocktail party, which was, I think, about 3 days celebration in Udaipur. I'm talking about a couple of years back. But I was always in touch with the groom and the groom's brother, because we had done the groom's brother's wedding. So they were actively involved. We were helping them figure things out, and we were lining up things, but I had not met the bride. So this was one of those unusual cases where I was getting like very anxious to meet the bride. I was like, where is my bride? Like, I'm not getting to meet her. That's kind of weird. My first interaction with her was when we were doing this day 2 celebration after crazy night of drinks, where we had a lovely white wedding concept. This is when white weddings were not that common, FYI. And there was a panic because everyone had a bad hangover. People were waking up late. They were not coming to the venue. So the lunch, kind of got shifted to high tea. Nobody was bothered about the food. And here I had my groom who's like, just somebody get her down. Her makeup was just not getting over. She had lost her voice. And she was crazily, in a foul mood. So I went up to her room again, my first time that I would have entered my bride's room, because trust me, I'm just not that kind of a planner, who goes knocking and says, hi, how are you? Hope you're doing good. I can't get myself to do those things. So I just went, and my job was to kind of pull her out without upsetting her. So she was not liking the way her hair was done, and there was so much of noise and commotion in that room and chaos. So I kind of just tried my best to calm her down, but she was absolutely not on the same page with me, and she kind of blasted, and I'm not very used to it because I'm a Leo and I'm just me. So I didn't take it too well, and I was like, okay, no problem, we'll allow her to this thing. And I let that moment go by. We did a wonderful event. She was extremely excited at the end of it. And that's when she came up to me and she's like, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I was going completely crazy. I was like, it's your day, you're allowed. But after that, the kind of equation I've had with her, it's like I'm looking forward to an event because I know she's on the guest list, because we just connect and we can talk random shit and we can go talking on and on and on, where I can actually end up forgetting that I have a show to run. So, I had a wonderful experience, my first time of not having met my bride and then connecting in a way that, like we were long lost friends. There's another wonderful bride whom I actually ended up interacting with. Again, very minimal, because I've done a lot of weddings where I've had, say, families more involved than the couple in taking decisions. And this beautiful bride whose core essence was trust. So her brother was organizing the wedding with our help, and it's blind faith. I have never met a woman who can trust and surrender to that extent. And that's when I start feeling a little shaky about myself, that I'm too opinionated when I meet women like her, and who can surrender, who believe that if somebody else is doing it, they are going to want the best for you. And therefore, no nosy behavior, no poking, no questions. You have been hired and you are going to be doing the best thing for me. Why else would you be running your business? So that was the undertone, the back thoughts in her head, and that just allowed us to do whatever we wanted. And I understood that little pretty damsel side to her, and I made sure that I'm doing like the most splendid soft couple entries for her, which is something that she truly loved. And I remember for her Jaimal, we had done it at this beautiful venue called Ambi Valley, and at Banaras Ghat in Ambi Valley, and we had guests and first family, with teary-eyed. So that was the kind of impact we left, and we had so many fun moments created for her. But the one thing that really stands out is the trust. And my first meeting with her was rather strange. I was actually doing a briefing for about 21 close family friends who were supposed to be heading a department each. So this would happen very often with us, where family members were told that you are head of certain departments and you have to work in tandem with the wedding planner. So I not just did a full run through with the family. The minute I finished that, I said, okay, we're going to leave. This was in Aurangabad. I said, okay, we're leaving to go back. And they were like, no, you're going to have lunch. I was like, no, I don't need lunch. I need to head back. And they said, no, we are expecting so many guests. You have to explain them. I was like, I just did. So he's like, no, these are those who are going to participate in organizing things. So he said, whether they help you or not, I know more than often they're going to run away, but you please need to give them that feeling that they are a part of putting this wedding together, because that's the way my family is. So I had 21 men, mostly in the age group of 55 to 65, who very cutely came in and they're like, बताइए मैडम, हम तो बगैर प्लानर की शादियां करते थे, but आप हमें बताइए हमें क्या करना है. So it was this very crazy environment at home, and there you had Namrata, who's so chilled out, relaxed, only smiling and giving me that look like, don't worry, it's all going to be okay right after this meeting. So I've of course met her as a guest at many of the other weddings that we've done, and it's just amazing to see that I see her trust her husband as much as she trusted her brother, as much as she trusted us. So how to surrender and believe that somebody else wants the best for you, that's one thing that I've learned from her, and I truly adore her for that. Nitin is asking your best theme for a cocktail party. Spinster's party. Nitin, I will whack you if you call it a Spinster's party. But I think the best theme for cocktail party would be very tough to pick, yaar. But chal, I'll pick one. Incidentally, I have met one of my best brides at this cocktail. So we were doing this wonderful, elaborate celebration, one which actually went trending organically on Instagram. This was a couple of years back. It was for one of the biggest families that we have in the Mumbai city, where we had this concept of cave rave. Okay, Nitin, that's for you. So there was like this insane cave-like setup that we created with a big lion at one end, with like the lion's open mouth. So it was literally like his mouth was open like this, and we had the bride and groom enter the venue through his mouth, So that was the kind of look we created, and it was like a nice dark dim red lit up space. It was meant to take you into a frenzy, and you could not just walk into the venue. You had to kind of bend a little, move around, maneuver yourself and get into it, because it's a cave. So it was an insane party that we did. I think one of the longest that would have survived. I think we had the guest partying for nearly nine and a half hours, and that was crazy because until then, Nitin, cocktail parties in weddings just meant a great DJ, daru, and that's it. But this was really trend-setting because we had themes for cocktail parties, and that's really how it became more and more trendy, especially in the west of the country. So something I'm very proud of. So yeah, so my bride over there was Dimple. Now, how I met her again was one of these random things where I think if there's one bride whose pictures I have seen, maximum pictures, then it's her, because we had done the entire invite designing also, and the entire concept was totally based on the couple and nothing besides them. This was, I think, 4 years back, so caricatures were not really in that time, but one of the first times that we explored it. But I wanted the caricature to look real and not funny. So that little space was very tricky, and it was more like, getting very pushy on the features. Eyes need to look like this, the nose needs to look like this, and this bride of mine looked different in every photograph of hers. So it went so crazy and berserk that I ended up, I think, having a collection of nearly 200 photographs of hers. Again, I did not get a chance to meet this bride. And when I met her there, she was so busy and consumed in attending to guests that we actually bonded after we came back. from the cocktail party, and it's been a wonderful relationship where any time of the day she needs anything, I know for sure I'm the first person that she thinks of, especially when it comes to doing something around. Recently she's got pregnant, and they wanted to give the good news to everyone around, and again it was us that they thought of. So it's that kind of dependency and the kind of faith that they have, that they know that we will be able to do much beyond and better than what they can imagine, and they just like to stay connected with us. So how to blend into a new family, how to adapt to your friends, your husband's friend circle, and how to be conservative and traditional at home and yet have a crazy flamboyant lifestyle that suits your husband. I think that is one beautiful quality of blend and adapt that I actually picked up from her, and I truly appreciate that trait, because it's so important. Guys, bhulo mat yaar. It's like, I know women have the mind of their own and blah, blah, blah. You still are the one who's expected to gel into things, into new environments and atmospheres. So I think she does that brilliantly. Nitin, I'm sure Delhi must be having those crazy cocktail parties, but of course, what we also understand is, that the Punjabi singer, the dhol, is a lot of times more than enough, besides the elaborate setups. But here, I don't know, in Mumbai, it's very content driven, yaar. Even a cocktail party cannot just be about drinks. You have to enhance it with smaller experiences. या तो हम लोग ही ऐसा करते हैं, but होता है, ज़्यादा मेहनत जाती है हमारे यहाँ पे. So I'm waving back to everyone on Insta. Sorry guys, I just got carried away, in talking about my brides and how I met my brides. I think one of the coolest brides that I have actually met with, who's actually allowed me to fly and go crazy in my thought process and given me a confidence that I should not fear being bold, is Silky. She actually is very unapologetic about the way she is, and until then, I think I would have some crazy ideas in my head, and somehow the entire Indian wedding environment always made me kind of put myself into a shell where I would allow new ideas to come in, but I used to find a conservative way to showcase it so that we were not making bold statements. But here was a bride who actually was I was doing a wedding for of her brothers, and that's when I interacted more with her, and after a year I ended up doing her wedding when she decided to tie the knot. She was so bindas, she was badass, and she still is, and I think she is okay to be loud. She is okay if you are okay with a certain thought. So that just kind of gave me a feeling that it's fine to have that kind of conviction. It's fine to probably get into a space that not everyone would appreciate, and people might think that you're going crazy, but there is a market for that. There are buyers, there are takers, provided you're doing it with full conviction, and you're doing it if it suits that particular person. So I think the personality of a person is so important. Sai is here saying hi, madam. Hi to you back, and hi to everyone else as well on Insta and on Facebook. So becoming unapologetic, becoming totally wild and crazy is something that was there deep within me, but I think it only came out once I worked with this beautiful bride, and she helped me fly into another space, and it's a wonderful bond that I have with her. My first meeting with her was where everything that we were suggesting was just like you guys have to do this, okay? You have to make this big. So there's so much of pressure that came in from the word go that I entered into a space like, if I'm not going to do this right, it's going to be the end of my life. So the first time I think I would have faced anxiety while working on a project, where I felt it was a matter of do or die, which of course every planner feels for every project. Not that we have a favorites, but I think the mental exertion and the fact that you're going to get destroyed if you don't do it right. That's the kind of feeling she gave me when I was planning a brother's wedding, and I just loved it, you know. And she just kept saying aur batao, and literally like this. So I was like, dude, like she is gonna take every idea that I'm gonna give her, and that's what I mean by saying that she helped me fly. So, you know, I just realized that there is nobody that's going to stop me, you know, from thinking or executing something if it's going to be amazing. So yeah, being unapologetic and being wild crazy is something that I think I saw a new side to myself when I worked for her. Um, there's this beautiful, wonderful experience I had for one of my brides from down south, who was uh, partially blind, and I was not aware about it when I signed up. When we went to meet them, the father told us, and I could not believe that I was getting this amazing opportunity to do something for somebody who's not going to be able to entirely enjoy my experience visually. But you know, I'm still being trusted that I'm going to create something that's going to be magical for her and her family. So I was totally confused as to should that fact and reality about that bride actually affect the way I'm going to plan the wedding. So it played on my mind, and you know how it is, and especially in India, we tend to have a very sympathetic approach, you know, towards situations and cases like this, and probably that's how I started my relation with her, and they can sense it. That was the most beautiful part. They don't need to see you to know what you feel. They can sense it in your tone, and that's exactly what the vibe I probably gave her. And she came across as far more aggressive and stronger. Probably somewhere she wanted me to know that she did not want to be treated differently from the rest of the brides. And that kind of took me aback and was really surprised. And as the process went on and I started planning the wedding and gave them lots of ideas, I was amazed to see the kind of clarity somebody who doesn't have vision can have in terms of their vision for what they are thinking of their wedding to be like. So there was immense confidence that she had and impeccable clarity in thoughts. And that is when I realized that if God takes away something from you, He actually blesses you with something that's far more deeper and impactful. And you are only going to be treated differently if you think you're different. And this can be in a good sense and a bad sense, you know. So it was a wonderful experience to work with someone that, you know, and I don't know, she had some kind of software in her phone where even initially, like I said, I did not know. So when I interacted with her first on WhatsApp, I was not aware. And I used to write messages, but I used to get replies. And then when, of course, I spent time with her, I did realize that she had her own way of doing it. And I had one of my wonderful colleagues who was actually her shadow, and you know, right at the Fera Mandap as well, okay, holding her hand while she took the Feras. So it was such an amazing experience where you definitely take 2 moments to thank the Almighty, but you're equally amazed and shocked as to how this cannot be taken as a setback, and you need to push your way through and be a stronger person so that people perceive you in that right sense. So confidence and clarity is something that I picked up from this wonderful bride of mine. And yeah, these were some of the experiences I had. Every bride is special, and I think the cutest bride I have ever met is one of my brides from Mumbai itself, Palak. You know, we used to call it the BP wedding because it was Bhavik Palak. And it was like this awesomely cute family where everyone was the typical hum saath saath hai feeling. Nobody had grudges, nobody had issues with each other, and they still don't. They're just so amazingly connected with each other that I couldn't believe that these kind of families actually exist. you know. So weddings, guys, are just like the biggest life experiences and biggest learnings of your life can actually come through these, because you are directly dealing with people in the most vulnerable space, and yet in a professional way. So it's an amazing amalgamation that comes through, and you have to keep this relationship going for 6 months, 9 months, and then you carry it on for a lifelong. I don't see any of my clients who are not yet in touch with us. Even if we miss out, they are the ones who actually drop us a hi or send us a picture of their wedding and say, hey, you know, I was thinking about you. So it's just amazing how, you know, you can connect and make a difference to people's lives, and how much they can actually impact to making you the person that you are. You know, whether it's in a good way or bad way, but I think there's something that I picked from each of them. And you know, if the feminine side to me is still alive, I truly owe it to a lot of my brides who beautifully manage their lives, you know, with their husbands in a cool, quirky, crazy way, and with their in-laws and family in the way that an Indian bride or daughter-in-law is expected to do. So it's beautiful relations. And those of you who like emotions, those of you who enjoy the company of people, and those of you who can get emotionally invested in your work, you are the kind of people who need to be in entering into this beautiful world called the Indian wedding industry. It requires expertise, it requires techniques, and you have places like the wedding school that teach you that. But it also requires you to be consumed in, you to be invested in. It's not a regular job, it's much beyond that, and that will truly shine out if you know, you are going to be either that personality or mold yourself into becoming that. Placid also joined me here. Hi Placid, hope you're still around. Good to see you here. And I think I'm going to come to you. Time for some color in my hair. Good, guys, I have to rush now. I have a very splendid event that we're planning on Sunday, and I have too much work piled up. And of course, this weekend is going to be great at the wedding school, because we are going to be teaching our students resource and research and development as to how do you do R&D, because that's really the first step for anyone who wants to enter this industry. You're not going to directly be taken to a client meeting, hell no. You better be learning what is available where, which kind of artists are available, what are the options that you can give your client with regards to hampers or gifting or several other things. So we're doing an interesting session on that tomorrow. And day after, I'm very excited because I have a wonderful wonderful person, Anand Kavar. Nitin, you must be knowing him, he's from Delhi. Not that everyone in Delhi is supposed to be known to you, but still. So Anand, he's the founder of Art Connect, and they specialize in events that are creatively and artistically, different. And he is going to be teaching my students artist and vendor management, and how can you work with celebrities, what's like a checklist you follow, and when you're working with non-celeb entities but working towards a concept or a content, how do you contribute towards that from the wedding planning perspective. So very cool sessions lined up, and I'm very, very excited about it. And I'm equally excited that I could spend so much of time with you all, remembering my beautiful, awesome brides and how I met them for the first time and what they have done to me, really. Sam is writing, listening to you speak so passionately, it feels like to join the wedding industry. Thank you, Sayam. But honestly, it's a beautiful space to be in. But before you enter the wedding industry, Sayam, you should try to get into anchoring. I saw a bit of the clip that we are going to play on Sunday. Boy, you're so confident. You've actually spoken like an expert. So I'm looking forward to showing you that tomorrow. Cool. I love the wedding space, and I love you guys for coming back every single time and spending time here. And for those of you who catch up on the videos later and of course write in to me, thank you for all the love, and have a great weekend ahead. I have an action-packed weekend for sure, and multitasking as always, something that I enjoy doing. And I'm going to see you next Friday right here on Insta and on Facebook. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead, and please stay connected to your relations, whether it's professional or personal. Spend some time this weekend, make those couple of calls, and live in this nostalgic space that I am in right now. You'll enjoy it. Alrighty, see you then. Bye bye.